In the balance tonight, Louisville coming into Piscataway trying to win its 10th game. Rutgers also trying to go 10-2. If Kyle Flood and the Scarlet Knights can get the victory, they'll win the conference outright and represent the Big East in the BCS. And perhaps most importantly, they'll really get over a big hump. Rutgers has proven it can win bowl games. They want to prove that they can win at the highest level. Samantha Steele working the field for us tonight. Going to be frenzied down there, Sam. How does Teddy Bridgewater look?
Yeah, not very good, but I'll tell you this. For Will Stein, it's deja vu all over again. In 2010, Rutgers fans will remember he came in for an injured quarterback at this same stadium and beat up on this Rutgers team. Now, as far as Teddy Bridgewater goes, I watched him in warm-ups, and he didn't look very good, Reese. Not only was he not mobile, but he had a hard time receiving snaps, even in the shotgun. I asked Charlie Strong about it, and he said, you should have seen how bad he looked on Sunday. They didn't practice him at all this week, which means Will Stein did get all the snaps. Bottom line, Charlie Strong told me when he's in tonight, he's in there to throw the football, but he does have one less target out there. His starting wide receiver, Scott Radcliffe, will not play. He is suffering a concussion tonight. A very different offense for this Louisville team we'll see out here tonight, Reese.
All right, Sam, and there is Charlie Strong in his third season as a Louisville head coach. He has a 23-14 record as the Cardinals' boss, and perhaps you have heard in the news this week there was a report that said that Auburn had talked to Charlie Strong about its head coaching vacancy. It is a report that Strong has vehemently denied. A source close to the search at Auburn indicated to me that it too was perhaps not at the interview stage, but this is that time of year where things come up. Both of these programs have had plenty of distractions with all the conference realignment. And now there's this too for Louisville on top.
You just have to wonder that the level of distraction, the level of focus tonight for his Louisville team, playing the biggest game of the season with everything on the line, on the road, in a hostile environment.
You're expecting a sold-out crowd. 52,454 is what this on-campus venue holds. Scarlet Knights won the toss. They will defer and put their top-level defense out on the field first. The Cardinals will have it to get things started. Justin Dorner, the senior, will be the kickoff man. Two guys deep for Louisville, Jeremy Wright and Adrian Buchel. We are underway from the banks of the Raritan. It will be Buchel. Buchel gets it across the 25 to the 27, and that is where we will get things started. And tonight, I guess you could say that Rutgers will try to win Will Stein's money and take away his share of the conference championship. Stein is a scrappy guy, is a former walk-on. He's getting his 6th career start tonight. Played at Trinity High School in Louisville, was part of state championship teams there, and he's a respected leader on the club.
Yeah, and a guy that's been around. Good thing is he got all the reps in practice this week, which helps him get prepared, but we'll see how he's ready to deal with this Rutgers defense.
He'll throw it in immediately completed to Damian Copeland, and a good pickup on first down. It'll bring up 2nd and short.
He has gotten all the reps in practice this week, but there weren't very many reps because it was a short week, and he hasn't had the reps with the starting offensive line and the starting wide receivers all year long. So how is the timing affected on this offense with him behind center?
A pickup of 9 on the first pass. Flags flying. It'll be a false start.
False start. Offense, number 85. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
It's a senior tight end, Nate Nord, who was a little early. Jerry McGinn, our referee tonight. You're going to see Louisville run it. They have not run the ball effectively in the last 2 games. They lost to Norris Perry, who was their leading rusher this year, and torn ACL in the Syracuse game. The last 2 games, they've rushed for a grand total of 75 yards. Average 1 yard per carry in the last game against UConn. 2nd down and 6 now. Stein going to pull it down and back to the line of scrimmage. It'll be 3rd and 6.
You see there an example from offensive coordinator Sean Watson moving the pocket, trying to give his quarterback an easy read on the outside of the field. If it's not there, tuck it and run. Try and make something positive with your legs.
Now Louisville on 3rd down for the year has been very good, but they were terrible against UConn last week. The Huskies have a good defense. It was 7 of 21 in their first third down opportunity tonight. Shovel pass. Stein completes it. It is right. He gets enough for the first down, and they'll move the chains.
And here you go. This is a creative way to, you look like you roll Stein out. He does a good job and flips the shovel pass underneath. Very easy. You see the guard come out and block. High percentage. Easy play for him to complete.
I think Louisville tonight is going to have to commit themselves to running the football or throwing bubble screens or shovel passes, easy ways to get running back Jeremy Wright involved.
To the ground, right. Nothing doing. Might have gotten back to the line of scrimmage. Jamal Morrell, number 37, making the tackle. Impact players for the Cardinals. We've seen Jeremy Wright already. Devontae Parker is a sophomore wide receiver with good size and speed. And on defense, the guys that you guys think the best player on the Louisville defense is Calvin Pryor. We'll see him when the Scarlet Knights get the ball in a matter of moments, and without Bridgewater in the lineup, we'll see how effective Devontae Parker can be. Stein again on the roll. He'll pull it down. He'll step out of bounds. Managing the game, not making mistakes, trying to stay ahead of the sticks.
Yeah, and situational football is going to be key tonight for Will Stein. That's one of the best things about Teddy Bridgewater. Red zone, 2-minute drill, third down. Understanding how to play the position, not put your football team in a bad situation. Will Stein's going to have to be big at these critical down and distances tonight.
This is one of those, third and long. White towel starting to wave. Stein running the option, keeps it. Will might have slid a little bit early. Wanted to make sure he didn't get hit, and they're going to mark him down short of the first down. So now what do you do early here? You've had trouble running the ball the last 2 games. Backup quarterback.
You got to punt it. I tell you what, though, I mean, another good play call on 3rd and 8 to be able to run it. But look, I think you got to punt it because you're going to have to make stops throughout this game at some point. He's a backup quarterback. Rutgers has got a salty defense. It's not the ball game time yet. I'd punt it.
They're 8 of 11 on 4th down this season. See if they snap it if they're going to try to get Rutgers to jump. Almost out of time on the play clock. And I think they did want to run a play, or else they would have just taken the penalty. So Stein had used the timeout, and Charlie Strong.
Maybe a 30-second charge.
A little bit displeased. The 50. The ball's about a half-yard short. Louisville's going to go for it.
I like this call. If they run it, they should run to the right side.
Will Stein atones for sliding short of the first down marker on 3rd down by picking up the first.
And how about that vote of confidence from head coach Charlie Strong to your young football team playing without your star player at quarterback so far in the ball game, going for it 4th down at midfield with everything on the line. It says a lot.
From the Rutgers 49. Jeremy Wright. Oh, and he drilled. Probably lost a yard. Delivering the hit is the senior Steve Boharnis.
I mentioned earlier, Louisville has to stay committed to the running game. It's going to be tough sledding at times against this Rutgers front 7 that likes to put a lot of bodies.
Watch 42 Boharnis come flying in there. Oh. Great job reading the play right away. You probably assume it's going to be a run. Backup quarterback, and he just comes in there and reads it perfect.
2 running backs now flanking Stein as Corbin Lamb is checked in. Quick pass into traffic, knocked away. He was looking for Andrell Smith. 3rd and 11 coming.
And that's another thing, as a defensive guy, you expect the ball coming out very quickly. They're going to make the reads short, simple, not ask him to do too much. You're going to be sitting up playing routes, and until Louisville takes a shot, I think they'll do that all night.
So here you go, situational football. Then, guys, if you're the quarterback right now, it's 3rd and long. You don't have to get it all back right now. If big windows aren't open downfield, you cannot turn the football over. A punt is okay. Let your defense go to work.
Scarlet Knight defense will go to work on 3rd down. Stein throws complete, hoping that Devontae Parker could run for it, and he picked up maybe 3 yards. It'll be 4th down, and this time Louisville will have to punt it.
So a smart decision by Will Stein. It's going to allow this punter to put him down deep in their own end. But still a pretty good rhythm, guys, for that first opening drive without Teddy Bridgewater in the game. I think you have to feel good right now if you're Charlie Strong or Sean Watson, the offensive coordinator.
I will say this, I still don't understand why they say Teddy Bridgewater might play later, but Will Stein starting. Yeah, if you're going to play him, why don't you play him? You got, 4 or 5 weeks to your bowl game. It's an important game. If he's going to get a chance to step on the field, why doesn't Bridgewater play now?
Remains to be seen if he'll get into the game. Fair catch is called for. Punt not terribly long. And Rutgers will have the ball. The nose is resting just on the 15-yard line. We'll see Gary Nova, the Rutgers offense. First possession had the punt, and now the Scarlet Knights will have it for the first time tonight. The de facto Big East championship game. As you see, Rutgers quarterback Gary Nova's had a solid season. Played at Don Bosco Prep, a traditional powerhouse here in the state of New Jersey. Thrown 20 touchdown passes. Nova on play action. Right over the middle, and he has a big wide receiver, and I think he might throw another touchdown pass. Brandon Coleman, 85 yards, and the Scarlet Knights strike. That is the longest play of the season for Rutgers, and they jump on top of Louisville.
How about that for a start? Considering the significance, they claimed the national title there in 1869, but this is probably the biggest game in 143 years of Rutgers football, and you start it like that?
Nick Borghese puts through the extra point, and after the Nova to Coleman touchdown, 10th touchdown of the season for Coleman. That is their first touchdown on an opening drive this year. If you want to call it a drive, I just call it a quick strike.
It's a tremendous scheme with the play action. I want you to focus on the safety here on this play. Line up right here. Just watch him with this in route by the tight end. After the play fake, they're going to try and occupy him with the in. It just forces him to freeze for a moment and hesitate. And that allows Nova to put the football up over top to Brandon Coleman.
And look at the 143 years of football. Off to a good start. Kickoff is short. Michelle returning it. But not very far. Stopped short of the 25. Final weekend of the regular season in college football.
You wanted to ease your quarterback into it, play good defense, run the football. That all went out the window. All right, Stein, you might have to score some points, bro.
High backfield, and now Louisville will try its own play action. Will Stein wanting to load up instead. Throws it out in the flat for a short gain to his fullback Hoyser out of it. Let's check in with Scott Van Pelt.
Good evening, Reese. Sports Center right now, presented by Coors Light. His path to Baton Rouge and LSU crumbled this year. Teron Matthew will enter the 2013 NFL Draft. Our Todd McShay says he's got second-round film, but think he projects more third or fourth round. The NCAA has granted Georgia Tech's bowl waiver. Even if they were to lose the ACC title game against Florida State, they will be bowl eligible. Back to Rutgers.
All right, Scott, a pick up of 6 on first down. Now to the ground. Jeremy Wright. 2, maybe 3 yards short of the first down. Third down coming. Kasim Green making the tackle.
Kasim Green, simply one of the best players in all of college football on the defensive side. You talk about a guy that can run, make open field tackles. He can cover slot receivers and running backs as a background, as a free safety.
Rush the passer.
Rush the passer, catch passes, got ball skills. He's a leader. It's amazing to think he's only played 25 games at the collegiate level at linebacker.
He's slacked the last 3 weeks. He's only got 41 tackles.
Yeah, what's wrong?
Kasim's in the top 15 in the country in stops. Stein on 3rd and 2, rolling, firing, first down Louisville. Damian Copeland makes his second catch of the night.
And a great job on first down. He took what the defense gave him. They tried to take a shot, made that more manageable on third down, a nice little out route. They're doing a good job using Stein's feet, getting him on the edges and making it easy.
But they got to run the football too, Davey. And last week against UConn, they threw it 65 times. I know you have Teddy Bridgewater then, but they were throwing way too much against two high safety looks and boxes that had only 5 and 6 players in them. They have to commit to running it tonight. They got to have balance.
Quick pass out. Football's loose on the ground. Scarlet Knights have it. And it is a fumble, assuming it was a completed pass from Al Morrell. He's already had a big hit tonight. Recovered the fumble. Marcus Cooper knocked it loose.
When you throw bubble screens, that's basically an extension of a sweep play outside, which is what they get. And Eli Rogers, a guy that's really come on in the last 2 games for Louisville, just poor ball security.
And you see if he makes the catch. He makes the catch right there. He's definitely got, he was still jostling it even before he was touched. They're going to take a look at that to see if he even caught it.
Umpire's still standing over the football right now, and now the whistle comes in.
The row in the field was a reception, a fumble, and a recovery by Rutgers. The previous play is under further review.
Well, Eli Rogers, who was Teddy Bridgewater's high school teammate from Northwestern, they've been friends since they were kids. You mentioned he's really come on the last couple of weeks, and he's hoping to perhaps have this one ruled incomplete. What do you think?
I thought it was a catch when I watched it.
Still jostling right there, though.
There was no reception. It was an incomplete pass. It'll be second down and 10 for Louisville at the 38-yard line. Clock operator, please put 7:15 on the game clock. Thank you.
Well, the one thing I've noticed about Pollock, it looked like he had secured, took a step to me, but Pollock is all about making sure that ball is completely secured and tucked away, where he believes it's going to be no catch. It's a couple times this year you've made that call, big fella.
Yeah, it wasn't tucked away. New life for Louisville. Don't panic yet. Don't need the contingency plan. Still got a chance.
It's good to know because there's 7 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, hey, they get that ball back, punch it in again. You got a backup QB in there, you're in some trouble.
A very fortuitous call for Louisville because it could have been in a world of trouble. As it is, it's just an incomplete pass, soon forgotten. Cardinals will continue to try to answer that quick early strike from the Scarlet Knights. To the ground. Wright found a little bit of running room on the right side, up to about the 42. It'll be about 7 yards short of the first down.
You have to expect Jeremy Wright is going to have a massive workload tonight. Starting tailback Sonoris Perry was lost with an ACL against Syracuse. Jeremy Wright's the only proven running back they have right now. Without Teddy Bridgewater under center so far, he's looking at a potentially 20-25 carries at least tonight.
There is Sonoris Perry. Over 700 yards and 11 touchdowns before being hurt. 3rd and 7. Get rid of it to Wright. Wright makes the guy miss, headed for the marker, and he takes a big hit. And he stopped just short of it by Deron Harmon.
That was a tremendous job of Rutgers' defense disguising the coverage. Pre-snap, they line up, and it's bump and run man-to-man, and at the very last second, you're going to see right here, all the way across the board, looks like man-to-man. Watch the safety just bail out last second into a big zone. Nice job disguising.
Nice disguising, terrible tackling. Still you can disguise it, you got to come up and make that play in the flat, and you're sitting at 4th and 7.
Louisville went for it on 4th down, just about the same spot on the field earlier. Now Louisville calls another timeout.
They want to check the spot. Maybe?
Timeout. Louisville. They're second and a half. We have 30.
Title at stake tonight. The Cardinals have sent their offense back out onto the field. This is about the same spot. You know, as I look at the spot, it's about the same distance as the last 4th down they converted. They'll run the same play, and this time Stein didn't get there, I don't think. You have to see where they marked it, but I don't think Will got close.
It is going to be close. This is the second time they ran quarterback sneak to the right side behind their 314-pound right guard, Jake Smith.
Yeah, they barely moved it an inch. If the yellow line, which is unofficial but very accurate, and the officials aren't even going to bother to measure, Kasim Green and the Scarlet Knights get the stop on 4th down.
Take a look at it again, see the kind of surge they got. They're just going to try to put it through this crease right here.
And a great job. You see him stem down late and take away that crease that you were talking about, Jess. He thought he was going to slip right in that gap.
And how about that for this defense? You get the turnover overturned, and you come right back and stone them on 4th down. Now you got the football back at midfield.
There's Darius Hamilton, the highly touted freshman who was in there. Plugged up that gap, and now Rutgers has it back. First carry of the night for Juwan Jamison. There's a flag down on the play.
Personal foul. Offense, number 72.
And personal foul, he said 72. That would be Caleb Johnson, the sophomore tackle from Jacksonville, Florida.
You can see him. Yeah. He's got his hands right in his face mask.
You know, discipline's been a problem for Rutgers all season long, guys. They're averaging 8 penalties a game, which is 111th in the country. You get a great opportunity. Your defense has just stopped them on 4th down. You got the football on the arm at midfield, and now you have a personal foul. And that's exactly what Coach Flood's writing down right here.
And despite that first play, this is an offense that they need to run the football to pass. They're not drop back and throw it 50 times like Teddy Bridgewater in Louisville has been at times. They need to run the football and stay ahead of the chains.
Oh, keep it on the ground in a good hole for a moment over the left side for Jamison. He was knocked down by Calvin Pryor.
Interesting to watch Juwan Jamison throughout the course of this game. Had an ankle injury a few weeks ago, and as a result has only carried it 13 times in his last 2 games. When he's healthy, he might be the best running back in the conference.
He's definitely one of the best running backs in the country, too. I mean, he's short little bowling ball, quick. Remember we got him against USF? He hit that spin move that we were like, whoa, that PlayStation move.
That's saying something, too, when you consider guys like Ray Graham at Pitt and some of these other players you see in this league.
You got to look at his backup, Savon Huggins. Both of those guys have had games in which they've carried the ball 41 times. The game that David referenced, Jamison carried it 41 times against USF in the victory. In the Cincinnati game, Savon Huggins, who perhaps is the most highly recruited player ever to sign with Rutgers, 5-star running back coming out of high school, carried it 41 times for 179 yards. That's just about half of the season total in rushing.
So here we are, 3rd down. Tonight, the size at wide receiver for Rutgers has to show up. They got multiple guys that are 6'3", 6'4", and 6'6". Small windows to throw into. They got to be physical on the perimeter, make plays.
Nova firing the slant, completed it, but it might be just a tad short of the first down. Karan Pratt, he marked just a little bit short, but they're inside the 40. Rutgers going here.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say stay on the field, go.
Although unlike Louisville, Rutgers hasn't had a lot of success on 4th down. They're just 2 of 7.
Well, I'm playing against a backup quarterback. I don't know that I don't punt. I mean, I try to maybe pin him in deep, and my defense has been one of my strengths all year long. I wouldn't be like, wow, that was a terrible decision if they punted.
I just think you want to start fast, something they haven't done all season.
One play, 85 yards.
The first quarter is still to go. You get a chance to seize the momentum right now if you get this first down.
And we also have a theme. Coaches like to call timeout. 2 previous times in Rutgers history have they won that many games.
It's like Juwan Jamison in here for this 4th down. 200 pounds, 5'8". I say you run it right at him, Davey. What do you say?
I said to punt it, but if you're going to do this, you better run it at him. You better get it.
Full yard. Louisville blitzing. Jamison breaks 1, and we have a second straight 4th down stop. Louisville got stopped, and now the Cardinals return the favor. James Burgess was the first guy to get through there and hit Jamison in the backfield.
They got tremendous penetration right off the bat.
Flying in there like a missile.
And how about timing up the snap count right at the perfect time? He's able to beat the lineman right across his face.
And he didn't make the play.
Antoine Lowry.
He didn't make the play, but he slowed him down just enough. And that right there is why you punt the football.
What's your sense of adventure?
Adventure? I'm playing against a backup quarterback. I like my chances. Now Louisville gets some mojo.
Senior backup quarterback, who, by the way, has won in this stadium 2 years ago. Just saying there. See what Will Stein can do. Jeremy Wright. Wright has it. Louisville's had trouble running lately, and just about everybody's going to have trouble running against Rutgers. Khalil Glaude, the first guy.
It is key tonight that Rutgers is having success up front with their defensive line slanting and moving, because they're not very big. They only average 255 pounds a guy across the board, and if they don't move, they're going to get eclipsed by a much bigger Louisville offensive line.
And they also have the liability now with Teddy Bridgewater out. They can stack the line of scrimmage a little bit more than most teams have been doing against Louisville in that passing attack.
Stein moving the pocket, has Copeland again. Copeland gets up close to midfield. Think he's going to be just a little short of the first down as we say hello to part of our Thursday Night Football family, Samantha Steele.
Oh, well, thanks for calling me family, Reese. Speaking of family, fans may be noticing that looks like everybody's name on the back of a Rutgers jersey. I'm going to tell you what it stands for, and I'm acknowledging right now you're probably not going to believe me. But this is what it stands for. Forget about me. I love you. Now, before you make fun of them and think that's soft for a football team, it was started by a guy that nobody calls soft, and that would be Greg Schiano. They used to have it in the locker room. Now it's on the guys' jerseys for the second home game.
And certainly not soft. The family arrives to stuff Louisville in short yardage again. Jamil Morrell was there with Marcus Thompson. Yet another fourth down. There is a Scarlet Knight injured on the play.
Of my career, without anybody being touched, you just stick your foot in the ground, and it seems like it can happen often. It looked like nobody touched him. It looked like he just put his foot in the ground and something gave way. Hopefully he's all right.
All right, with all these fourth down stuffs, this time Charlie's going to punt that thing. Mason Robinson makes a fair catch inside the 10. Now this is a huge game, huge implications tonight. Not the first time Rutgers and Louisville have met with a lot at stake.
Jaron Spillman runs it out of the end zone for Louisville, has a crease. Beats the kicker and takes it to the house. Now it's Rice. He's around the corner. Put it to the end zone. Touchdown. A fitting ending to Rutgers' biggest win ever.
28-25, the judge. Jeremy Ito knocking through that field goal to win it. Ito, by the way, is a season ticket holder. Haven't seen Jeremy tonight. Expected he's here. Another completion to Coleman. Coleman showing his feet. He has a first down across the 20. Now, Jeremy Ito's field goal certainly resonated with any Rutgers fan. It particularly resonated with Anthony Starygo. Anthony is a kicker for Brick, New Jersey High School Township. I hope you saw the College Game Day piece that Tom Rinaldi did so beautifully on Anthony. Anthony's autistic and really became captivated by the Rutgers team because of that game in 2006 against Louisville. Watched it kick over and over, told his dad he wanted to be a kicker. And as it turns out, he's become a kicker. And earlier this year against Toms River North, a perennial power in the state of New Jersey, Anthony kicked a game-winning field goal of his own with less than a half minute to play. It was a great story that Tom and the guys at College Game Day did this past week.
It's a great story. And I'll tell you what, he's a really good kicker, too.
He is.
I mean, he's...
He said he hit from 50 in practice.
It's unbelievable to watch this kid kick.
He came out here, and the Rutgers family, Tim Pernetti, the athletic director, and Kyle Flood, they welcomed him with open arms, and he came out here and did a little kicking, and he said he knocked one through from 45 or 50 on this field, too. And comes to every game, huge Scarlet Knights fan, and obviously hoping to see his team win the Big East outright and make their way to a BCS game with a victory over Louisville tonight. I'm not sure Nova got the snap off, but timeout was called in the nick of time to save Rutgers 5 yards.
Rutgers.
Memorable victories of the Greg Schiano era. Gary Nova trying to give him another one tonight. Gary pulls it down, picks up a little bit on second down. He'll bring up third down. You know, on that night in 2006 when Ito hit the field goal to beat Louisville, lit up the Empire State Building in scarlet as they are doing tonight. See what happened to Gary at the end of this play.
See the big man jumps over him.
Yeah, I mean, he's just trying to avoid him. I don't think that was intentional.
That's not intentional at all, but that doesn't mean that, you know, having Jermaine Brooks' 330-pound knee in the top of your head, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
I'm sure it didn't feel good, but it's still pretty impressive. He got that 330 that much vertical. Closing seconds in the first quarter. Nova fires a little bit early, and perhaps fortunate it wasn't intercepted. Fourth down coming with 7 ticks remaining in the first period.
Really a cat and mouse game going on defense right now from both of these teams. Doing a good job showing a look before the snap and then changing the coverage, forcing these quarterbacks to make quick, accurate decisions in a short amount of time.
Justin Dorner standing at his own 12. Kai Dominguez just inside his own 40, return man for the Cardinals. Wobbly kick. Dominguez has a Scarlet Knight right on him, and he will go absolutely nowhere. Making the stop was Mason Robinson. First quarter comes to me, and with Louisville getting the ball back, Teddy Bridgewater is making his first appearance of the night. As mentioned, Bridgewater broke his left wrist, hurt an ankle against UConn, triple overtime loss, and Teddy immediately has trouble with his shotgun snap, but Corbin Lamb has no trouble picking up yardage as he gets into Rutgers territory. Good run on first down.
Man, I think it was important, first of all, for Louisville to rebound, but now you get Teddy in the ball game. He's got a broken right hand, or left hand. So try to get the snap. You might want to get it to him, please. That's one of the important parts. Try to get it to him as quickly as possible and make it easy for him to catch it, because it's tough having that broken left hand.
Well, Mario Benavides said this week he was going to make it as easy as he could, try to get it to the right hand. That one might have gone a little hot and far right, but Teddy handled it. 16-yard pickup, easily the best run of the night for Louisville. And snap handled cleanly. Bridgewater firing, complete. Good pickup on first down. Andrell Smith making the grab.
You know, one thing I'm going to keep my eyes on here with Bridgewater is the mobility. And Davey, the reason I don't think he started the start of this game was because watching him in warm-ups, he can barely move. Okay. So he's very limited.
I understand that, but my question is, why do you wait till now to put him in there? Why don't you let him start and see how he does to start, and then pull him if you don't want to play him?
I think you try to give yourself a chance to get in. I mean, stay in the game. If Will Stein starts the game, if he starts it hot and he's rolling, you just stay with the hot hand that way.
And this is where Teddy...
Louisville's going to have to burn its final timeout in the first half. And so Teddy Bridgewater is 6th in the nation in passing efficiency. He is the undisputed leader of this Louisville team. And getting back to the point about going in and out, I would think now that they've decided to play him that it's going to be a situation where you're not going to want to bring him in and out. You want to leave him out there and see if he can get a little mobility in that ankle.
Yeah, you're going to have to wait and see and just see how much he can do. And again, just judging by what I saw pre-game, I don't think there's a lot he's going to be able to do. I think it's simply catch shotgun snaps, hand it off, or fire, because I don't think he can scramble.
No, I don't think he can either. I mean, you talk about as simple as stretching and spreading your legs out wide and be able to stretch one side. He couldn't even spread his legs out and put pressure on one ankle. So it's going to be pitch and catch. And listen, that's what he does best. I mean, he's very smart. He knows how to read things at the line of scrimmage quickly, get rid of the football, and that's what he's going to do right now in the shotgun. And you know it as your Rutgers. You got to be able to hit him when you get a chance, but also crowd the receivers and make plays.
Bridgewater making some kills, changing the play. A stumble in the backfield from Corbin Lamb. Lamb is a freshman from Miami who's got more playing time since Sonoris Perry was injured. Let's have a look at Teddy handing the ball off.
Just the fundamentals, the simple things you take for granted become so much more difficult. You see, normally he'd hand that off with his left hand around the football. This time now he's got to guide it with that left hand. It makes it so much more difficult.
And he almost took his glove off right there, too, when he took the snap.
Okay, now running play, and Will Stein's back at quarterback. Stein's going to throw it, and he's got the first down. Nick Heiser making the grab. Heiser's second catch of the evening.
And I think this does two things. You can run the football or throw it with him in the game under center with Stein. Great job. You can play action, Reese. He's not gimpy on his leg. You can hold the ball out there, fake it, makes a great throw to the flat. Now comes Teddy Bridgewater back in the ball game on first down.
Hey, let's not.
Jesse, you're used to this, aren't you?
Oh, yeah, all day.
You're used to this.
You
One play,
hey,
come out.
You can score points doing this. Trust me.
I'm going to tell you, that was a great pickup on the blitz, too, by the freshman running back, Corbin Lamb, to give Stein a little time to get it out to Heisel. Now Lamb's going to run with it. Lamb, the fastest of the Louisville running backs. He might have a first down. The Cardinals, he does. Cardinals threatening. Jamil Morrell making the tackle.
Corbin Lamb brings speed into play for this Louisville offense. AAU champion in the 100-meter, the 200-meter in high school. Got clocked in the 4.3 range in the 40-yard dash, guys, and was heavily recruited. Michigan and Rutgers got in the recruiting battle. Of course, he chose Louisville over them. He'd love to have a big game tonight.
What's an AAU champion in sprinting? I've never even heard of that.
It just means you're fast.
Okay.
Especially if you're from Miami. That's who you're competing against. A lot of fast guys. Bridgewater firing it toward the end zone is just a little bit far for Ryan Hubble.
And I don't think we should either take for granted, too. You get a bum wheel, a bum hand, and just assume that Teddy Bridgewater is going to be able to throw the football. It's going to be curious to see him. I mean, I know he's got the leadership and he's got the experience so far throughout this whole season. He's been great, but he's also not the same guy limping around with a cast
But
on.
he's proven he can do it. I mean, last week against UConn, he's got a fractured wrist and a sprained ankle, and he comes in.
But a lot of times when you don't know what's wrong fully, you're all right. But once you have a week to feel it and you know exactly what's wrong, it makes it a little worse.
Lined up in a pistol set. Bridgewater. Good cut. Lamb still running inside the 10. He wanted to get to the end zone. He was tracked down from behind by Jamal Morrell. First and goal for Louisville.
The beauty of the pistol formation is you don't telegraph where you're running the football versus if a back's offset. The running back can go right, left, or straight forward, and as a result, it's hard for the defensive line to slant because they don't know which side the ball is going to go to.
How about Mr. Lamb sticking that foot in the ground, making a guy miss, getting an extra 10 yards.
And now Will Stein's back at quarterback.
Now you can run or play action with him.
Last time Will was in, it was play action and a completion for a first down. It's time to run. Lamb is hit in the backfield. Storming in from his safety position was Lorenzo Waters.
We talked about Will Stein having to be great in situational football. All year long, Louisville has been the best red zone scoring team, scoring 94% of the time they're down in this area. So with Teddy Bridgewater, he understands you throw checkdowns or you throw touchdowns. You don't take sacks. You don't turn the football over. Will Stein's got to keep that mentality right now.
Second down and goal from about the 9-yard line. Lamb's the running back. Stein on the roll. Going to throw it away. It'll be third down and goal.
Nice job. Nice job. I think it's probably even harder for Will when Teddy comes in and has success. You know, it's different when you're in command of the offense by yourself. Going in and out, not trying to force it, making a play, and here comes number 5. Here's a touchdown or check down.
Yeah, so Teddy Bridgewater back in the game. I think the guy you got to look for here is wide receiver Devontae Parker. Big physical receiver, 6'3", 204 pounds. He's a guy in the perimeter of the field that has great leaping ability. Maybe you give him a chance right now.
Bridgewater threw him a touchdown pass to force overtime against UConn Saturday. Teddy firing complete. Won't be enough for the touchdown. Hubble makes the catch. Fourth and goal coming. Logan Ryan on the stop.
Teddy Bridgewater wanted Parker on a corner route. Wasn't there. So again, touchdowns or checkdowns. Points are at a premium right now.
And Hubble, you could tell from the 3, he wanted to reach that ball out. He made a smart decision to bring it back in and not try to create a turnover. Hey, positive drive for Louisville. You played the little quarterback carousel game. You had your best and most significant drive of the game. Try to get 3 points out of it.
John Wallace perfect from this distance. It's inside 39. This is a 20-yarder, and now John is 11 for 11 from that distance. He has his 13th field goal of the year, and Louisville is on the board. 7-3, Rutgers has the lead.
If you have a great idea.
For his dad to be a great inspiration to us and inspiration to so many. who are battling cancer or who have family members who have battled cancer. You can help during this week, this holiday season. We encourage you to do so. Gary Nova got rid of it nicely in the face of pressure. Short completion. Tim Wright making the grab, his first of the night.
Well, it's not going to be enough tonight for Gary Nova just to be a game manager for Rutgers. And all season long, that's really what he's had to only be because of the way they play defense and the way they play special teams and how they want to run the football. But in a game this big, now that Teddy Bridgewater is in the game, Gary Nova's going to have to continue to make throws. And the staff understands that. They're allowing him to throw it on first down.
Second down and 8 for Gary. Steps up, fires complete. Broken tackle, still on the run is Mark Harrison. Harrison's on his way. Touchdown Rutgers, 68 yards.
Talked about how the size at wide receiver had to be an advantage for Rutgers. Well, here's Mark Harrison, 6'3", 230 pounds, just running a stop route. Davey, regardless of how big you are, you got to get bodies, you got to tackle.
Yeah, I mean, that's bad, but what did you say going into that play? You said he's been mostly a game manager. You go 5 wide, he makes the right decision. Guy makes a great run after the catch, and that's a couple bad instances of Louisville letting receivers get loose and make big plays. Make them earn it.
How about these numbers? Louisville, rather Rutgers hasn't had. Louisville will have it back. Frankly, Cardinals in need of a play. And falling down is not the play that Adrian Bruchel wanted. Not great field position for the Cardinals as we check in with Scott Van Pelt.
Reese.
Manti and Dick Vitale hanging out. Manti Te'o been a spectacular player. Fighting Irish awaiting the winner of the Alabama-Georgia game on Saturday to see who they'll play for the BCS championship. Both of these teams hoping to go to a BCS game, possibly same stadium in Miami for the Orange Bowl. Bridgewater keeping it on the ground and taking a big hit in the back is Jeremy Wright. Oh, after Mark Harrison scored that 68-yard touchdown, he was down on the kickoff team. He almost took out Kyle Flood.
I'm telling you, he's 230 pounds. Like you will not. There might not be an NFL team that has the size of wide receiver that Rutgers does. You want to think twice about doing those chest pumps. Some of these guys. It's like a bunch of David Pollocks out there.
The Cardinals had a nice drive the last time they had the ball. It turned into a field goal drive. They could use a big play of their own. Bridgewater trying to give it to them. Checks it down underneath and picking up the first downs, Jeremy Wright.
That's a great point, Reese. Louisville has to find explosive plays on offense. All season long, they've made a living on driving the field and executing. They've had 25 drives this year, 10 plays or more, but it's hard to go 8, 10, 12 plays to score because you got to be perfect. You can't have penalties. You can't have turnovers. In this game tonight, eventually, they're going to have to find shot plays.
Well, and one thing we haven't seen from Teddy Bridgewater is play action. It's either been a handoff or it's been a pass. He hasn't stuck that hand out there with the broken cast yet.
Bridgewater making adjustments. Going to the ground. Nothing doing. Loss of 1 for maybe Wright. And David, to your point about that, we saw Stein and Bridgewater going back and forth earlier. How easy is it for a defense to, after a couple of series, to get a read on which quarterback's doing what?
Well, I think you start to realize, you look at Teddy, he's not going to stick the ball out there and then pull it back out. So right there, you play the run, you sell out. You saw Stein come in the ball game. What did he do? Play action where he could fake it and then use his feet and carry out the play action. So it's going to become predictable. Now it looks like you're going to see 5 with the ball more, and you're going to make him, I'd blitz him more. I'd play up tight and make him move his feet a little bit because he's definitely ginger at that ankle.
2nd and 12. Bridgewater firing right on the money, and you see now
he can do
that.
that.
Put up big numbers. That was right to Ryan Hubble.
Even when Teddy Bridgewater is maybe 80%, he's better than most of the quarterbacks in the country. Check out the accuracy right here and the seed he throws. Reese, that's called spinning the magic bean.
Yes, it is. I
see
think
a bad snap too.
Would you argue with me? Geno Smith might have a case. Does anybody throw a prettier ball than Teddy Bridgewater?
No, it's beautiful. I mean, it just comes out nice, velocity, the revolutions.
Bridgewater throws with a glove on his passing hand. His first college pass he threw without it, threw a pick. So that's the end of that. Teddy firing high. He was looking for his high school buddy Eli Rogers.
And they have to make Teddy move his feet. And right there, he stepped up in the pocket just a little bit. You saw the defensive end coming off the edge. You got to put pressure. Rutgers, your strength is your secondary. You got no problem leaving guys on an island. I think blitzing Teddy. Before his injury, you wouldn't want to blitz him as much. Now, I think you want to heat him up more.
Especially, Davey, because Rutgers likes their secondary. That's the strongest part of their defense.
Yep.
3 different senior starters back there. Logan Ryan, one of the best cover guys in the entire country. So you like those matchups one-on-one if you pressure.
Bridgewater sacked. Jamal Morrell getting him. Let's keep an eye. Teddy's going to be helped to his feet. 3rd and long coming.
Finally, this time, the coverage forces Teddy Bridgewater to hold on. He wants to work to the left side of the field first, taking away man-to-man coverage, like we just said. They like the matchups across the board. And you see here, Jamal Morrell able to make it in for the sack.
And that right there pays dividends. Hit him a few times. They can get up on that gimpy ankle, hurt that hand. They can get rid of the ball out sooner.
Get rid of it. And Wright has had a rough night. Kevin Snyder tracked him down just about as soon as he caught it. 4th down coming. That was a stop behind the line of scrimmage. Rutgers has already exceeded its season average in tackles for loss tonight.
They're very active up front. We talked about the movement by the defensive line, having to do that because they're just small. But they're very disruptive, not cooperating right now with Louisville offensive coordinator Sean Watson in his game plan.
Stop moving. Stand still.
Brian Johnson almost got that thing blocked. Rutgers has been good at blocking kicks. Mason Robinson chasing that thing down.
I think it hit one of his own guys.
Yeah. And maybe it
Bounced
did.
off.
And so maybe was wondering why he was chasing that thing around. Perhaps that's why. Make sure he'd hold on to it. Eagle Eye Pollock spotting the ball, bouncing off the Scarlet Knight. Rutgers will have it. Battle for the Big East tonight. Rutgers can win it outright. If Louisville can rally for a win, Cardinals will get a share of the title. Cincinnati and Syracuse also with 2 conference losses. Scarlet Knights with a 14-3 lead. Keeping it on the ground. Juwan Jamison with a good pickup on 1st down. Rutgers has had 2 long scoring plays, an 85-yard touchdown pass to Brandon Coleman, a 68-yarder to Mark Harrison. On the other 11 plays, the Cardinal defense has done a pretty good job.
But that's been the formula for success for Rutgers on offense, at least to try that way. They want to run the football and take shots. Haven't always hit the shots, but tonight, whether it's a bomb or whether it's a 5-yard hitch, they're making them count.
Nova waited for a long time for something to develop with Jamison. Nothing did. 3rd and 6 coming after we check in with Scott Van Pelt.
Reese, Sports Center right now, presented by Coors Light. Michael Vick does not pass his concussion test, which means Nick Foles will make his 3rd straight start Sunday against Dallas. Philadelphia in free fall. They've lost 7 in a row. Georgia Tech at 6-6 will be allowed to play in a bowl game even if they were to lose to Florida State in the ACC championship game. Their bowl waiver approved by the NCAA. Back to 3rd down in New Jersey.
All right, Scott. Coming out of the ACC Coastal, which has been a mess. North Carolina ineligible. Miami declaring itself ineligible. Taking another shot as Nova. This time, not close to Coleman.
You know, I am a little surprised at the play calling for Rutgers on offense so far. I mean, I understand Gary Nova's going to have to make throws, but they're doing it a lot, and they're taking a lot of shots. And I still think you got to get back to conventional running, pulling backside guards, outside zone, the things that you've done all season long.
It's one of those things, though, it's hard when you go 6 for 7 for 186 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Justin Dorner gets it away. Guy Dominguez took a little peek, decided to make a run, couple of presses of the B button, depending on your gaming system. We'll stand up close to the midfield, and the flag comes down. It looks as if it's going to be against the Cardinals.
They got to find something in this phase. With your offense struggling a little bit, you're giving up big plays, special teams. Something on the road has to happen good. They need to return a punt, return a kick, get something going.
Block a kick.
They don't need to get 15-yard penalties or anything like that, holding penalties.
Running into the kicker on the defense. Number 31, 5-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Replay 4th down.
Don't need to run into the kicker either.
Difference running into is shorter penalty, not the automatic first down.
He got thrown into the kicker. He didn't run into him. Watch.
That's Champ Lee, linebacker. He just gets spun.
Chucks him right into him.
Yeah. Pretty good spill that Dorner took. He'll have an opportunity to pick up a few yards in field position. Louisville trying to set up a return. This time Dominguez trying to make a fair catch. He got bumped on the way by. Wow, the Scarlet Knights pick up a few more yards. Mason Robinson has been all over the place on special teams. A 40-yard punt. This guy let him run to the end zone.
Paralysis by analysis.
Paralysis by the Rutgers defense against the Louisville offense so far in the first half. Teddy Bridgewater throwing Nate Nord. Bo Harness makes the tackle.
Teddy Bridgewater, guys, has unbelievable football IQ. And I think a lot of coaches would be very nervous considering it's a short week this week. Your quarterback hasn't had a lot of practice time. But because of how he understands all the schemes and concepts in the offense, they still have a lot of volume for Teddy Bridgewater when he's in the game, and you've seen that now in this quarter.
And you see him at the line of scrimmage. He's still doing the usual. He's making all the checks, getting everybody in position. And to think he didn't do any of that this week, it's pretty difficult to do on game day.
He's limited, particularly in running the whole offense. He did throw a pretty good bit. And Wright is hit again. There hasn't been much running room for him. Khalil Gloud making the stop.
And because Teddy Bridgewater can't move, watch what this does. You got a defensive end right here at the top of your screen. I have no threat of the quarterback to run. As soon as he goes down, that tackle goes down, I'm going right with him. I don't care about the quarterback run. I'm playing run all game long. Usually, you might pause just for a second because Teddy can pull that thing out. But in this situation, you know he's not running the football.
With Will Stein in the game, you know, Davey, I'm surprised they don't blitz more on the outside.
Going back and forth at quarterback. Stein hands it off, and again, no running room, and another hit behind the line of scrimmage, and maybe Wright got it back to the line. It'll bring up 4th down. Bo Harness has been in the Louisville backfield as often as the two quarterbacks have.
Well, we talk about Kasim Green, but Bo Harness is an NFL talent himself. Done an outstanding job, versatile player who can rush the passer as a defensive end on 3rd down. A lot of athletes.
Both teams would rather be in 3rd and long than 3rd and short right now. They're both struggling in that area.
Look at what they've done to Jeremy Wright tonight. He's carried the ball 10 times for -3 yards. Low punt, not a great one, but one that gets a very good roll for Louisville. It's going to be very effective. It'll be touchdown at about the 7-yard line, so with less than a minute and a half to play in the first half. Let's check in with Scott Van Pelt.
Coming up on the Land Rover halftime report, Reese, Teron Matthew heading to the NFL. We'll tell you where Todd McShay has.
The BCS aspirations right now, Rutgers in the driver's seat to win the Big East outright. And go to the postseason, and a good, tough run on 1st down. Juwan Jamison getting the carry. We didn't know if Jamison would be spelled often by Savon Huggins, but if Jamison's healthy, they're going to ride him tonight, and they've done so far.
But I like the thought process. You're not really in 2-minute mode right now. You only have 1 timeout to go. The way your defense is playing, you're going to get the football back first in the 2nd half. I think you're happy if you're Kyle Flood taking a 14-3 lead in at halftime.
Man, you've made so many big plays through the air, though. How do you stop it?
Back to Jamison. Jamison keeps ripping off these runs and stopping the clock to move the chains. It might change their thinking here in the last few seconds of the first half.
Still going back to a huddle, it looks like.
He's still 75 yards out, but if they're 75 yards away, that means the Scarlet Knights have them right where they want them.
That's exactly right.
Based on their 2 touchdowns tonight.
Keep in mind, too, that their starting kicker, Kyle Federico, has been out for a lot of this year with an injury. So, you know, you probably don't feel as comfortable kicking it.
Back to Jamison. This time he's knocked down and they're in no hurry. That might do it for the first half.
They've been impressive. I mean, that's gone according to script. If you're Rutgers, explosive plays on offense. You've been suffocating on defense, especially in the running game. And you're going to get the ball back right away.
And Louisville's got to decide what they want to do on offense. They got to figure out, you know, a half-healthy Teddy. Is that the way you want to go, or you want to go with Stein? They got to find something to get rolling.
Scarlet Knights up 14-3. Samantha Steele's on the field.
Yeah, Coach, obviously a lot of questions about Teddy coming into this game. What's your assessment of your quarterback rotation right now?
Well, we're just trying to rotate both of them. So anytime we want to get outside the pocket, we put in Will. But the key thing for us right now, we're not blocking, so we can't run the ball. So we had to help him out.
When it comes to the big plays, obviously explosive plays have been the difference so far. What do you have to do to stop that?
Well, we're not tackling. Just we have to get the guys down, and the thing we have to do is not give up the big play on defense.
All right, thanks, Coach.
All right, Sam. Louisville hoping to rally in the second half. Winner, almost a certainty to go to a BCS game. Rutgers can win the Big East out. Will Stein split time during the first half as Bridgewater's coming off an injury last week. Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollock here. So what is the plan in the second half do you think Charlie Strong should implement regarding his quarterbacks with Stein and Bridgewater?
Well, you're going to have to protect Teddy Bridgewater if he stays in this game. I think Rutgers defense obviously has established that they're going to try and get pressure on an immobile object.
Yeah, and he's usually pretty mobile and has a great pocket feel. So Rutgers has to do a good job of heating him up, and not on that bench. I'm talking about they got to heat him up. They got to blitz him, play man-to-man coverage, get people around his feet. He's a quarterback with an ankle injury. You don't think that makes him feel uncomfortable to get people in his face and have him to move around and make him shift his feet? And then on top of that, guy, he's got a cast on his hand. My goodness. I mean, extremely tough for Teddy Bridgewater.
Tough for him and tough by him for playing. He showed a great deal of toughness playing against UConn last week, and that turned out to be a severe tactical error by Jeremy Deering, who slid in to catch it, perhaps let that thing go out of bounds, and you gain about 25, 30 yards in field position. Time for the Home Depot coaching adjustment.
Well, we talked about Rutgers going to bring extra rushers to try to get to Teddy Bridgewater, try and force him to be uncomfortable, get the football out of his hands sooner than he'd like.
Yeah, and when you have bodies around him, you saw him some high throws. The playbook shrinks a little bit. He can't do everything that Stein can do from a bootleg perspective, so definitely bring some pressure, play some man coverage, which you usually wouldn't want to do against him.
Okay, the first break of the second half goes Louisville's way as they have Rutgers starting inside their own 10-yard line. Deering sliding down to catch the kickoff. Scarlet Knights to the ground. Jamison gets nothing. It'll be second down and 10. Samantha Steele's on the sideline.
Hi, Reese. I caught up with Kyle Flood coming out of the half, and he said he's most confident right now in his defense, so just playing good all around deep. But on offense, he said he's looking for some consistency. He said obviously it's hard to complain when you get two big plays like that, but he wants to see them run the ball better. He said the bottom line was they didn't really run many plays there, so that's kind of difficult. But he said he is happy with Gary Nova's performance so far. He said being a game manager is kind of what they want right now.
First order of business for a quarterback, make sure the game is managed correctly. Second down run to pick up a few. Louisville defense there to make the stop. Calvin Pryor. That's just the 20th play that Rutgers has run tonight. Louisville has run 40. As Sam brought up the point, it's because they've scored from 85 yards out and 68 yards out.
So they're fresh. So they need to establish the line of scrimmage in the second half, ice this game with an 11-point lead. Now you see, they've made tremendous second half adjustments all season long, outscoring opponents 82-13 in the third quarter. They got to get back to what their identity is on offense now, and that's running the ball.
Third down, they'll try to pick it up, and he's knocked away. Good coverage by Adrian Buchel. And it'll be 3 and out for Rutgers.
And it's not like Louisville hadn't been playing good defense. It's just been the two big plays. You see right here, they dropped 9 guys into coverage. Nova sees it, gets the ball out of his hands quickly, but Louisville was ready for that, dropping 9 guys into coverage. Again, big plays. That's what they got to limit.
So you force a 3 and out. Now you're giving the football back to either Teddy Bridgewater or Will Stein at midfield.
A short punt. Kai Dominguez is hit immediately inside the Rutgers 45. There is a flag on the field at the 13-yard line. Jerry McGinn is our referee tonight. That's Jerry in the white hat.
Penalty marker down.
Holding. Number 7. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. First down.
Damian Copeland called for the hold. He's going to move Louisville back a bit. Jamal Morrell's had a very good night on defense.
We talked about an undersized defensive line that likes to slant and move to be disruptive, and Jamil Morrell has been just that. Only 255 pounds. A guy that's used to playing defensive end. He's lined up everywhere, been very disruptive.
Yeah, that was Jamil that we had to look at. He's a defensive lineman. His brother Jamal, number 37, also played well tonight at linebacker. The Morrell brothers have been staples of this Scarlet Knight defense. Of the two brothers that are of the family of stop troops, Scarlet Knights, in the top 15 total defenses in the country.
I was about to say, that was the first time they put Teddy under center, but they backed him up and put him in the pistol.
It was a ruse. Bridgewater getting the first snap of the second half. Injured ankle, broken wrist and all. And his first pass in the second half is complete to Damian Copeland. Copeland now has 4 catches on the night.
Bridgewater will have to make throws, guys, but to help him, they can run the football too. And I'm surprised. This offensive line was very anxious to play tonight's game. They really struggled against UConn last week with 27 rushing yards and 28 carries. They wanted to come out and atone for those areas.
Well, Corvin Lamb was the guy that really gave him a spark. Remember, when he came in, when Teddy came in, they gave him the ball. He made some nice cuts. Maybe go back to those speedster in the backfield.
Trips to the right. Try to get a little screen. That's Rogers. Eli Rogers makes a big hit from Kasim Green, and it's going to be a little bit late after Rogers had stepped out of bounds, and there's going to be 15 tacked onto this one.
And this was a perfect play call. Rutgers brings pressure off the edge. Teddy gets the ball out of his hands quick. And if you get the tackle on 15.
There's a lot of different ways to run it, right?
Yeah.
Bubble screens, again, just an extension of the running game. So right now, some creativity from Sean Watson, Louisville's offensive play call.
I want to see that replay to see if they a little ticky-tacky or not.
Well, this would be the second personal foul called on Rutgers tonight, so discipline now, playing smart football in the second half, going to be very key.
Personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Rogers stepped out of bounds right before Kasim laid the wood. Let's have a look at it. I mean, he was out of bounds.
You know, but
stepped out there, but the play's still going.
Well, Kasim Green can't tell that because of the body language of the ball carrier. It's not like he acted like he was slowing down. I don't know if he knew he was out of bounds. I don't know if Rogers knew he was out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Didn't hear the whistle there. Not sure if Kasim was able to hear it, but 15-yard penalties giving Louisville great field position. Now Bridgewater can't get away. And Teddy's slow to get up. Scott Malone on senior night. The big defensive lineman back there to sack Bridgewater for a huge loss.
And that's too bad for Teddy Bridgewater in Louisville because they had a wide open receiver running down the left side of the screen here in the slot. It's Andrell Smith. Bridgewater just not able to get there. Scott Malone beating it. There you see Smith right in the slot. He wants the football. Wow.
We talked about pressuring Teddy Bridgewater, making him move his feet. That's the first time they let him run play action tonight. And it's a little bit more slow developing. You got guys getting on you, and he can't do what he usually does and make people miss.
So 2nd and 22 after the Scarlet Knights' second sack tonight, an 8th tackle for loss. Bridgewater complete to Rogers. Rogers stretching it to the 30. They're going to need about 13 for the first down.
Can't say enough about this guy's toughness. You know, and this is a team that believes in Teddy Bridgewater. They always believe he's going to bail them out, whether he's 100% or whether he's not. This team has won 5 games this year by 7 points or less, oftentimes because of his play late in games.
You want to get the first down here, but you'd also like to make it a more makeable field goal because then it's a one-possession game. Your defense is playing pretty well. So let's see what Sean Watson has. Late pressure from Green down the middle and just overshooting Eli Rogers. It'll be 4th down.
That's
Bridgewater limping off the field.
It's the second time tonight that he's missed an open receiver over the middle of the field high. See here, throws on time, but he's not able to really step into that throw and throw it with the conviction that he wants because of the pressure, I think because of that ankle injury on his left foot.
And if you see a lot more of that, at some point, don't you have to go to Stein? I mean, if he can't move, and he starts to struggle throwing.
This is the 47-yard attempt. It would be the longest of the year for Wallace, and it comes up just a little bit short. And so the Rutgers defense is able to get a stop, and they hold that 14-3 lead. Trying to win the Big East outright. Trying to earn a spot in a BCS game. John Wallace trying to bring the Cardinals in 8, and he missed it by that much. For Jordan Hill, not only the AT&T All-America Player of the Week, got a helmet sticker on College Football Final.
That's all you need. It's complete.
I tell you, it's the most coveted award in sports. Gary Nova firing for Mark Harrison, and they're calling it incomplete. On the sideline, Andrew Johnson is on the coverage.
I'll tell you what, he did a heck of a job fighting back to the football.
What does he have possession of this ball? Right now.
He's got it, yeah.
Yeah. And is that toe down? I thought it was down.
You see any beads fly up?
Well, I'm a quarterback, so of course I think that was a catch.
You thought he got the little toe tap.
Yeah, I thought he got the toe tap. I mean, you don't see any rubber come up.
Yeah.
But again, guys, I mean, you got to get back to running the football if you're Rutgers now. I mean, setting up second and long. See, I think it's a catch.
And I think they're going to have a look at it.
That wasn't the best angle. The best angle, I think, is from behind. You saw from the side or from behind him.
Kyle Flood, like for it to be called a catch. Flood taking over this year, his first year as a head coach after Greg Schiano went to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 17 years as an assistant coach in his career. Arrived here at Rutgers in 2005. Played this area in Iona.
I think offensive coordinator Brian Harsin does a good job dialing those opportunities up to Mike Davis and Jackson Shipley. Didn't hit a lot of them last week against TCU.
How about Optimus Klein? He's got one more chance, one more national stage, maybe to win that Heisman.
Nova throwing it up to the outside. It's Harrison. He's got it inside the 30. Mark Harrison with another big play in the passing game. This time picks up 36.
Mark Harrison has a 5-inch height advantage over Adrian Bouchel on the outside. Just a fade route. There's the size advantage coming in play again. Harrison able to stay in bounds on his course. Beautiful catch.
And Mr. Nova put that on the money, too.
You take a look at the size, and again, I don't know if there's a team in the NFL that has this type of height at wide receiver.
When a guy is really tall, you don't need to throw it at his shoe tops, and Gary did, looking for Mark Harrison.
Mark Harrison is a guy who this game in particular means a lot to. Remember last year with a down by 2 points, 8 minutes to go, he dropped what would have been a game-winning touchdown pass. He has had all offseason to think about that. He's playing big tonight.
He was wide open.
Yeah, he was.
Right through the arms. Look at the frustration on Harrison's face. Nova. That's a running move. Now pulls it up. Now throws it underneath. And a big hit delivered as Jamison tried to scoop it up off the deck. Calvin Pryor is there to put the hit on him. It's 3rd and 10. Here's the play that Jesse was talking about from last year. Scarlet Knights down by 2, 16-14, and Nova as a freshman found Harrison running alone. Oh, right through the breadbasket. Louisville held on for the 16-14 win, and now Harrison has atoned tonight with a long touchdown catch. Jamison back to the ground, and Rutgers didn't pick up much. Brandon Dunn there to make the stop. So 4th and 9 from inside the 30.
This would be a big field goal if they hit this. Makes it a 2-touchdown game.
And Nick Borghese is a redshirt freshman who's kicking now. See, he hasn't attempted a lot of field goals. freshman kicker that was a starter, Kyle Federico, has a hip injury. This one's going to be from 43 yards out, as long as 42. It's a fake. Louisville has it sniffed out for a minute, but not anymore. And D.C. Jefferson with the catch. Touchdown, the officials are signaling. There is a flag down at the 20-yard line.
Isn't this usually a legal man downfield when you do this?
I was watching D.C. Jefferson. It looked like someone almost tackled him.
Receiver downfield, offense, 71. 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
This happens so many times on field goals because guys, it seems like they just lose their patience and go downfield too fast.
Take a look at Devon Watkins. He's right in here. Just watch him the entire time on this play. Oh, sorry, he's down here at the bottom of the screen, 71.
Yeah, there he just sort of wandered.
It takes so long to develop, and he buys so much time. He's just kind of wandering down the field. Heck of a play. You just got a little bit more patient.
And some good patience from the holder,
heck
J.T.
yeah.
Tartikoff, too. What a good throw on Jefferson. And another break for Louisville, perhaps keeping them in this game.
Wow, but still, guys, such a big penalty. Wiping a touchdown off the board.
Justin Dorner will punt. While it's inside the 10, Rutgers will down it there. So Louisville avoids giving up a touchdown that might have been the knockout punch, and the Cardinals muster a little bit of offense against this stingy D from Rutgers.
Sales are at an all-time
6-7 record. I think Florida State better be careful. They are coming off not a physical game, but a vicious and violent game against Florida, a game that the Seminoles lost last week.
Not only that,
Jeremy Wright with the short carry.
Playing against the triple option, which nobody wants to play as a defensive guy, trust me. A lot of guys, I mean, they're disappointed from their season, getting ready to go to the league. A lot of guys worried about their knees. I mean, that's...
The defensive coordinator just took the head coaching job at Kentucky. Mark Stoops and Tank Carradine, one of your best players in the team.
Hurt last week.
Out for the rest of the season. Watch out.
By the way, that last carry for Jeremy Wright got him back to 0 for the night on his 11th carry. Rogers making the grab. Louisville get the first down.
That's the first time they've thrown the football over the middle of the field. The first time tonight. Everything they've done has been on the outside so far, attacking the edges. Mix it up a little bit. Teddy doesn't move that well, but they got to find some ways to spread the ball around a little bit more than they have tonight.
1st and 10 after the completion. Back to the ground. It's Corbin Lamb, and he's hit for a loss. Louisville hasn't been able to run it at all. You want him to stay stubborn, but at some point, do you just start pitching it around? They can't run at all.
I think you got to try to keep having balance. Watch Scott Barone right here up front, just like a space eater, just taking on Mario Benavidez, the center, just steering him into the ball carrier.
Walking the dog.
He's a guy that's very undersized, but he takes on double and triple teams daily and frees up linebackers to make plays. Excellent play.
9 tackles for loss by Rutgers tonight. They were too far out in front. Eli Rogers, and now Louisville looking at a 3rd down and long.
It's so much easier to rush a quarterback 3rd and long now when you know exactly where he's going to be. He's not going to roll out. He's not going to shuffle his feet. You know he's going to be standing there right behind the line of scrimmage. Bring some heat.
See, the offense has been more successful with Teddy Bridgewater in. I think they have to stick with him moving forward. Even though he doesn't move well, they're only going to generate yardage in this game behind center in the pocket throwing downfield. Watch right now, looking like man-to-man coverage across the board. Teddy Bridgewater going to try to find a throw in the perimeter.
He throws it out. He's got a man out there. It's open and it's caught. Andrell Smith, 1st down Louisville.
Did you see Teddy Bridgewater in the pocket? He just kind of floats back and just lets it heave. And you think maybe he's throwing it away and just floats it up there for his receiver to make a play. He's spinning around, coming back around the other shoulder. Wow.
Nice play by Smith.
Teddy was just stumbling backwards and just spun it.
Pick up 26 on 3rd and 12. Now they're out to the 45. Bridgewater firing. It is complete. Immediately knocked down is Devontae Parker.
Teddy Bridgewater is only a true sophomore, but he is very smart. And if I'm Rutgers defense and I'm defensive coordinator Rob Smith, I'm going back to mixing up my coverage looks. You can't just line up and bump and run press coverage, because Teddy Bridgewater's got a great football IQ. He knows where to go with the football. You got to get back to disguising things and start making Teddy Bridgewater think more.
Whistles and a flag, false start being signaled.
Start. Offense. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Instead of 2nd and 5, it'll back it up to 2nd and 10. Might have been Alex Cupper, senior from Louisville, who already has his degree, working on an MBA.
He's their best lineman.
Man.
He's played all 5 different positions at one point this year. So the guy's going to have to step it up.
Bridgewater with time. Fires complete, and it's a 1st down for the Cardinals. Damian Copeland making the grab.
I just think you have to stay with Bridgewater, guys. When Will Stein was in the game, they were rolling him outside, but they were only getting minimal yardage. I think in order to find chunk plays and to consistently keep the chains moving, Bridgewater has to play, because he gives you your best chance throwing it from the pocket.
They haven't found chunk plays all year. This is Louisville football right here. Dink and dunk. Trying to get 1st downs, put it together, and be efficient in the red zone.
Just outside the 40. Inside 5 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Big East title hanging in the balance. To the ground and taking a big shot after picking up a couple is Jeremy Wright. He's been battered, beaten, and bruised, and he's got 12 carries for 2 yards on the night.
Which makes it even more impressive what the offense is starting to do and starting to have some success, because literally you're talking about a quarterback. He's got 1 leg, 1 arm out there. It kind of reminds you a little bit of Byron Leftwich. Not the ending yet, but just out there doing everything he can with no running game.
Corbin Lamb has been their most effective runner. He's their fastest running back, and he's in the game now. Bridgewater to throw. Underneath and complete. See Green there to make the tackle as soon as Jarrett Davis grabbed it. Be just a little bit short of the 1st down.
Louisville starting to find success, just throwing the football over the middle of the field quickly, spotting receivers up right in front of linebackers and allowing Bridgewater to get the football out of his hand quick. And now Stein's in the game. You expect something going to the perimeter of the field.
Well, I think it's because they put him under center, too. They don't want Teddy under center taking a snap with the cast on his hand. He can take it underneath. Now he can hand the football off, and you can do more play action if you want to.
Saw Stein convert on a play action, a play that was very much like this. Will racing for the corner, racing for the 1st down marker. Looks as if he'll have enough, and he will. So Will Stein comes in, converts.
That's what I'm talking about. I like having a little bullpen action. They can go to the bullpen, bring in Stein, do a little bit more.
Well, it's great seeing him have success, too. He's a bit of a high school legend out of Louisville. You mentioned it earlier, Reese, playing at Trinity High School. And a guy that has had to step in games, be a starter, make plays. This team really follows his lead. He's made some big plays tonight.
Rutgers showing pressure. Bridgewater firing. He had his man, and he threw it a little low, and Ryan Hubble bailed him out with a terrific catch.
I'm not so sure how Rutgers can allow the tight end to come off the football so clean. Watch him right here. The release he gets, barely even touched, just right down the middle of the field, no one even looking at him. And a nice job by Teddy Bridgewater protecting the tight end with the throw, not trying to lead him into the free safety, and an unbelievable grab.
Well, and that's Marvin Booker had him man-to-man. That was man-to-man across the board. He's got to pay attention to his guy when he runs right by him down the middle of the field.
Bridgewater's hit 6 out of 7 on the drive, but Stein's back at quarterback as the Cardinals send the QB under center and back to the ground, and Rice goes to the ground. That's pretty much where Rutgers has put him for most of the night. Second down now.
This is an excellent Rutgers defense, especially against the run. Very stout. You've seen that all night, how active they are in their fronts. The athleticism at linebacker with Boharness and Green and Morrell. They've only allowed 6 rushing touchdowns this year. That's tied for 4th fewest in the country. That's a big reason why they've been successful in the red zone as a defense this season.
Here comes the 13th play of this drive. Smith, nothing. Coming off the corner from the safety spot was Lorenzo Waters. It'll be 3rd down and long.
And they haven't been afraid to bring Lorenzo Waters off the edge. And a lot of edge pressure for Rutgers. It's a great job stopping the run. Every time they've seen that they ran the football to the outside, somebody's been there to make a play. You see Waters coming up late. Great job filling in run support. Now it's money down. 3rd and 12.
And the guys whose name we haven't mentioned tonight, guys, Devontae Parker, number 9, right here at the top of the screen.
Bridgewater, shovel, right, headed to the end zone, touchdown Louisville!
Wow.
What a heads-up play by Bridgewater. You know he can't run with it. Bought just a little bit of time and shoveled it to right. Charlie Strong's fired up.
And he should be. So many things to like about this play. Bridgewater wants Parker on the post. Free safety takes it away. What about the mobility? Just to even slide up and having the heads-up sense of awareness, understanding where your check down is.
He can't even put that ankle down when he's dropping back. And to put a foot in the ground, step forward and make that play, that's some toughness right there.
Big time.
War Daddy's what he is.
That's a War Daddy. Great swole right there, Reese
Great
Davis.
swole, 16 out of 20, 170 yards, and Bridgewater has Louisville college football. 14 played, 90-yard drive, 8 up, nearly 8 minutes on the clock, and Louisville getting into the end zone for the first time tonight. It's 14-10, late in the 3rd. A reminder, if Rutgers wins the game, they win the Big East outright. They'll go to a BCS game. If Louisville and Charlie Strong win the game, will be a tie for the Big East championship, and the Cardinals almost certainly, I think I could say with certainty, will be the BCS representative. The ultimate tiebreaker they would be winning would be the highest ranked BCS team. Jeremy Deering, fumble. It's still on the ground, and Louisville has it. Calvin Pryor making a play on special teams as Deering gave up the ball, and Calvin, the student section, to be quiet. Got a couple guys slow to get up after that collision.
How about the momentum shift we've just seen after the touchdown pass by Bridgewater? Just a fierce hit right on top of the ball.
Looks like Terrell Floyd,
yeah.
the defensive back that made that hit.
Just textbook,
Great hit.
Putting your helmet on the football, popping it loose. An opportunity to fall on it for Rutgers that they miss. There's Calvin Pryor, one of our impact players, landing on that fumble.
Now we still have a player down the 30-yard line. Miscues that started the second half. He slid, caught a kickoff inside his own 10, and now, after the big hit, fumbles.
Defense, come on, Barry!
You can hear how, you can just hear it from the sound.
So what an opportunity here, and what a turn, as Jesse said, in momentum. Louisville, who just got into the end zone a few seconds ago for the first time tonight, gets the fumble on the kickoff, and now they're right at the edge of the red zone, right on the 20-yard line, threatening to take the lead.
Fans got quiet for a second because things just got real.
Bridgewater throwing to the end zone, up for grabs. He caught it. Did he get down in bounds? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Devontae Parker.
We had just mentioned on the last drive a name we haven't called very much, Devontae Parker. Just going to run the double move. Not a very good one.
Did you see that?
It's a hitch and go. He just spins out of it. 1 in every 4 career catches for Devontae Parker ends in a touchdown. That is the definition of a big play wide receiver.
That was a hitch and spin, and that was awesome.
Would you like to know how you erase an 11-point deficit?
Just like that.
2 touchdowns in 16 seconds.
That'll work.
It's a good way to do it.
And just like that, Louisville has the lead with just over a half minute to play in the third quarter. John Wallace puts the extra point through, and all of a sudden, Charlie Strong's team has taken the lead.
And we talked about Rutgers having to disguise coverage. They start with a too-high safety look, and they rotate, and when they did, Teddy Bridgewater knew he had one-on-one on the outside, so his eyes immediately go to his 6'3", 205-pound wide receiver. And he just puts that in a perfect place.
Well, watch Harmon come over. I mean, he does a terrible job. You got to at least punch the ball out and deliver a shot right there as a safety. You can't let him get away with that.
How about this guy? He might be 80% tonight. He's 17 for 21 with 2 touchdown passes in the last 16 seconds.
You think he's even 80%? I mean, physically.
Yeah,
no.
You're right. I don't
the
even know
arm
if
is
he's fine.
fine.
Yeah. The arm is fine.
No.
And
One
his head
arm is fine.
That's true. One arm is
fine, and his brain's working beautifully
like
because he is dissecting.
It's like the operation game, man. He's got to put parts together up there. You have to be impressed with what he's done. My goodness.
The apprehension on the face of the Rutgers fans. Kyle Flood said that this team has proven they can go to bowl games, win bowl games. They've done that. They haven't done is won the Big East outright, though they've already clinched a share and haven't played the BCS game. That's what's at stake for the Scarlet Knights, who now found themselves trailing for the first time tonight. Miles Schuler is back to return the kickoff this time. And Schuler, he takes a big hit. Doesn't quite make it to the 25, and 27 seconds remaining in the third quarter. That's where Gary Nova and the Scarlet Knights will get it back. Sunday night, ESPN will unveil the matchups to all of the... Also, will be live on that. 3 of us will be there. Kirk Herbstreit will join us. Louisville hoping to find its way in. Gary Nova has a big play tonight. That's Mark Harrison for a first down.
So Gary Nova now knows he's in a bit of a duel. Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater might not be 100%, but Gary Nova's now going to raise his game heading into this fourth quarter if Rutgers is having an opportunity playing in a BCS bowl game.
And he's played great.
How about, you think that's a pretty good yards per attempt and better that yards per completion? Nova's completed 8 passes for 234 yards and a couple of scores. But in the fourth quarter, he's going to need to lead his team to another score if Rutgers wants to win the Big East outright. Kyle Flood's team saw a lead get away in the waning seconds of the third quarter. There's the Hardware, who will claim the Big East. Fourth quarter's coming when you come. Saw Eric LeGrand on the Jumbotron, but Rutgers finds itself down 17-14. Here's what's at stake as we start the fourth quarter. A share of the Big East championship for Louisville and a spot in a BCS game. The Scarlet Knights can win the Big East outright and advance to a BCS bowl as well with a victory. But after a 2-touchdown and 16-second outburst from Louisville, Cardinals have the lead. Gary Nova trying to regain it. Firing underneath. Karan Pratt. Pratt has another first down as he gets up close to midfield. We have a player down for Louisville, and there some big hits being delivered and taken right now. Andrew Johnson is the player down. The soft
on top of his head again. It was almost a bit of a double whammy.
They're still talking to Andrew. They were rubbing his neck a moment ago. So Rutgers has it first down. Gary Nova. A lot of time. Down the middle. Got a man. Oh, and the ball is dropped. Tim Wright had it. Might have scored. And it's a lot earlier, but shades of the pass that Harrison dropped last year that would have been the winner.
And this may have been the exact same play they ran on the very first offensive snap, the touchdown pass to Brandon Coleman. They just get a deep crossing route from the slot receiver.
Perfect
That's
throw.
6'4" Timothy Wright. You got to catch that, because that might be a score.
And as much as we talked about Rutgers getting the running game going, Nova's been money. He's been putting the ball in the money. They just got to keep catching. They got mismatches in the secondary all over.
Senior Wall Township, New Jersey, would like to have that one back. Back to the ground for Rutgers. Into Louisville territory goes Jamison.
I think Gary Nova's greatest improvement this year versus last guys is the mental game. I think last year as a true freshman starting, he was more worried about where his guys were going to line up and what routes his own guys were running. This year, he's focusing on defenses, and he has a plan at the line of scrimmage. That last play, that was an audible. That could have been a pass call that he checked out to a run to get positive yardage. Doing a much better job with the mental side of the game.
Now Rutgers is converted on third down just one time tonight. Here's a big one. That was almost intercepted. And out of the hands of Adrian Michel. He'll bring up a fourth down.
And that's got him a couple times. Again, Louisville comes in and zone blitzes, only rushes 2 guys, drops 9. Last time they were ultra successful against Nova in that package. I bet Charlie Strong will dial that one up again.
And as Rutgers gets ready to punt the ball away, I want to remind you of what happened just a little while ago. 14-3 Rutgers. They ran a fake field goal that went for a touchdown, called back because of an ineligible receiver downfield. It would have been 21-3, might have been ball game at that point. Instead, Louisville is rallied, and they have the 17-14 lead, and they have the ball back. Towards Spotlight, remember to tune into the Home Depot ESPN College Football Awards Show, December 6th, 7:30 Eastern on ESPN. After the 22-yard punt, Jeremy Wright. We might have to check with our statistician, Mark Amento. That might have been Jeremy's longest run of the night.
Well, that wasn't Jeremy, was it? Oh, it was Jeremy.
Yeah. It was.
I thought it was Lambs. He's had all the success.
You know, if you're Charlie Strong's team right now, you have to finish this game. They've had opportunities early this year. 22-point fourth quarter lead against UConn, 11-point fourth quarter lead against South Florida. Weren't able to hold on, ended up making the game interesting. They won.
Bridgewater firing to the outside. Copeland making the grab. It'll be a first down for the Cardinals. Not to mention, too, a 36-7 halftime lead against North Carolina, and they had to make a defensive play at the end to keep the Tar Heels from coming back and winning the game.
So you got to keep your foot down now. I mean, you got a 3-point lead here on the road. Instead of messing around, making some mistakes and making this thing interesting, close the game out, execute on offense. Defense, don't give up big plays. Something they haven't done a great job finishing this year.
Good protection for Bridgewater, throwing it up to Parker. It's too long. It'll be 2nd and 10.
I think Rutgers needs to decide what they want to do now, because I think you saw him back in the pocket, chilling. You were fine. He wasn't moving. All of a sudden, he moves, makes a big play. Now you go, wait a minute. You need to stay back there in the pocket. Don't do anything different than what we thought you were going to do right there, man-to-man across the board. But you know what? They're still not getting a lot of heat on him. He hadn't hit the ground since the first half. Nobody's taken him to the ground, made him feel any pain.
Been cognizant of protecting him. On the course of the year, they haven't been a great team in pass protection. Having allowed 23 sacks. 75th in the country. Running game. Finding some room now is Jeremy Wright. Bring up third down and about 2.5, maybe 3.
So this has been an excellent third down team all season long. You see Will Stein coming in now. Teddy Bridgewater, very ginger, coming off the field.
Mr. Third Down, Will Stein, huh?
Under center, we've seen a lot of bootlegs, a lot of nakeds, pass run options for Will Stein tonight.
Louisville is 6 of 14 on third down. Stein's been particularly good. Again, the bootleg. Stein thinking of throwing it. He's got the first down. He's into Rutgers territory.
And on comes Teddy Bridgewater. It's a good plan.
Well, watch what Stein does here. It's a great job buying time. You see him with the bootleg. He slips his fullback into the flat. He's not open. He makes the defender commit one way or another. Go to your fullback, and then he was able to tuck the football and go. So that was a really good job buying time, especially for a guy that is kind of playing halftime, rotating in and out.
John Miller's down. I do wonder how many times you have to see Will Stein run the boot on third down before he stayed home.
That's my point. I mean, if you're Rutgers on defense, at what point do you just start screaming pressure off the edge to not allow him
up the first down. He made up for that by taking a quarterback sneak on 4th down to convert.
But how about Louisville, too? I mean, you got your main guys not in there to start the game. Teddy Bridgewater, the guy that makes everything go. You come out, they got 14 points just like that. It's 14-3. And you find a way to stay in there, and then later in the game, you make some plays, complete some passes, create a turnover. And now you're looking up at a 17-0. Heck of a job keeping their head down and fighting.
Your place holds about 60 pounds.
How many times have we seen this tonight? Teddy Bridgewater audibling at the line of scrimmage.
To the ground. In the backfield this time. Wright's able to spin away. How many times has he been hit before he could even get back to the line of scrimmage? But a terrific run by Wright.
We're talking about Teddy Bridgewater's toughness. Well, you're right, Jeremy Wright. He's been lit up, and there's about 3 black jerseys. It was just like a meeting in the backfield. Just bad blocking up front, still able to avoid a negative play and somehow gain 3 yards. That's an incredible run.
You got to make that tackle in the backfield. You got to wrap up. Come on.
2nd down and 7. Bridgewater down the middle, and it's intercepted. It went through Rutgers' hands, and Lorenzo Waters has it. Into Louisville territory, and a huge turnover for the Scarlet Knights.
This has been the only area of the field where Teddy Bridgewater has not been accurate tonight. That's the 3rd throw now over the middle that he's missed high. And he had a guy wide open running the in route.
No pressure. Oh, it looked like it almost got tipped, but it didn't. See if it got tipped near the line of scrimmage.
I don't think it did.
No, it just sailed on him.
And he was able to step into this throw. There were a few times earlier tonight where he wasn't able to get a full stride. This one, he knows he just missed.
Nice return by Lorenzo Waters, too, to put your offense in good field position.
At the 42 of Louisville. To the ground. Juwan Jamison. Picks up a couple where he's knocked down or knocked out of bounds by Preston Brown.
That was a huge turnover for Rutgers defense. You talked about all the opportunities that Rutgers may have squandered. You mentioned the fake field goal that they missed. Got a kickoff return fumbled.
Nova taking a shot, and Coleman just out of his reach. Terrell Floyd was in there after Andrew Johnson was hurt. Kind of had his hands on Brandon. You saw him sort of pull away like a kid getting caught reaching for dessert. Not me, I didn't do it. 3rd and 8 now. And Rutgers really has to take advantage of this turn.
Well, you know, yeah, and no doubt, to get into field goal range, give yourself at least an opportunity now to tie this game. Look at this bunch formation here at the bottom of the screen. All that size right here, trying to work something over the middle of the field.
Nova stepping up, firing, complete. He's got one of those big fellas, and it is Harrison making the catch. Harrison, the senior from Stratford, Connecticut.
And it's a great job by Nova, buying time. You see Rutgers does the same thing. They drop 9 again, so take some time, get some patience. He actually pushes his offensive lineman right there out of his way. And if they're going to drop 9 guys into coverage, take your time. Don't rush it. Watch him push his big guy. Do you ever do this, Jess? Get out of my way.
Well, the lineman doesn't even know where the ball is.
Hey,
dog, move.
Get somebody for me.
Trying to bring us back.
On the ground. Jamison right at the line of scrimmage. A good tackle. Jermaine Reed.
You know, you got to give this run defense from Louisville a lot of credit also, because they've been lights out all night tonight. And that has not always been the case, especially in the second half of the season, guys. They got gashed for 278 rushing yards in their loss at Syracuse, but tonight, doing a better job fundamentally up front.
If I'm Rutgers, I'm done running the football. It ain't
You're
working.
done?
I'm done. Forget it. Let Nova, Supernova, chunk it around the yard.
Saw the average 160 yards per game over there. Last 5 have been closer to 195. Nova firing into traffic and is knocked around and falls incomplete. There are more white shirts than black ones around there. He was looking for Harrison.
Mark Harrison's been Gary Nova's go-to guy tonight, and again with tremendous size, trying to run the double post concept outside.
He had a
into
chance.
double coverage, you know, and when he let that go, There was a safety more in the middle of the field, but he played the ball in the air. They're fortunate to come away without a pick on that one.
We talked about their 6'19" receivers. They play at different altitude. They play different levels. Throw it up.
Okay, 3rd down and 10. Again, similar situation to earlier. Want to make the field goal easier if you can. Nova gets rid of it over the middle. It is complete. He's going to be short of the 1st down. Making the grab was Tim Wright, who dropped a big one earlier. It's going to be stopped at the 21. It'll be 4th down and 2. They send on the field goal unit. This is going to be about a 38-yard attempt now for Nick Borghese.
How big was that catch? In traffic, tough grab, helping out your field goal kicker, making it 8 yards easier for him.
Borghese from 38 for the tie. He's got it, and we're locked up at 17 with 7:48 to go in the 4th quarter. Big East championship hanging in the balance. A BCS berth hanging in the balance, and it was the left to settle it at least before overtime. Adrian Buchel. Buchel looking for the edge. A flag is flying behind Buchel. Typically, that means we're going to throw this baby in reverse for the Cardinals.
Holding, number 42, during the return. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction. 1st down.
Charlie Strong's team going to lose some yardage on that holding penalty on Jalen Harrington. Don't forget the Marathon MAC championship game, Northern Illinois and Kent State, 2 of the most exciting players in college football. If you haven't seen them, check out Jordan Lynch of the Huskies, Dree Archer of Kent State. Both of these teams ranked in the top 25 of the BCS standings. Now, it's significant for the Mid-American Conference Championship for sure, but as you look at these Discover BCS standings, the cutoff, the important thing is number 16. UCLA is sitting there just ahead of Kent State. If Kent State gets into the top 16, or Northern Illinois for that matter, and finishes ahead of a conference champion from an automatic qualifying conference like the Big East, an automatic berth into a BCS bowl and not much running room for Jeremy Wright. And the losses last week by Louisville and Rutgers, Rutgers losing to Pittsburgh, Louisville losing to UConn in triple overtime, really opened the door for particularly Kent State, but maybe Northern Illinois as well in terms of getting into a BCS game by winning the Mid-American Conference.
Yeah, and it's tough because you can look at teams that are around them that have played a tougher schedule, that probably have a better resume, that you could put ahead of Kent State. It's tough to rank 25 teams towards you get to the bottom, but that Kent State lost to Kentucky by 33. And we're not talking about basketball season. We're talking about football.
It was early in the season, the only game Kent State lost. Kent State beat Rutgers. And the Scarlet Knights, their first loss. Ball batted into the air. Scarlet Knights, thought for a moment, might have a chance with the deflection. Deron Harmon knocked it up. It'll be 3rd and 12 for Bridgewater.
This is so much fun to watch right now. You're watching a lot of man-to-man coverage, and there is some serious competition on both sides of the ball in the secondary level. Receivers, DBs, I think that's where this game's going to be decided. Who makes the bigger plays on either team in the secondary?
Heave down the middle. Oh, what a grab by Eli Rogers. Rogers with a huge play on 3rd and 12. And Louisville gets a 1st down.
Here Rutgers tries to disguise their coverage, and they're going to see if they can get Teddy Bridgewater to throw it somewhere he doesn't want to. They start with one safety in the middle of the field. Last second, they're going to split. That's going to allow Teddy Bridgewater to find the middle of the field and find his open throw. This guy's only a true sophomore, but he reads defenses so well.
Pick up at 33. Louisville has now converted its last 5 3rd down plays. Back to the ground. Looking for a little running room. Is Wright knocked down for a loss. Let's go back and forget Bridgewater here.
Forget the fooling and reading coverages. How about the arm, too? Look at that.
Oh.
I mean, that is put perfectly right over the safety. Great grab, too, by the way, but My goodness, yeah. No, I'm with you, dog. There's nothing you can do, though. Great coverage, perfect throw.
You know how long,
wins.
How long those two guys have been doing that? Childhood friends, teammates at Miami Northwestern, now teammates here in Louisville. And
Geno Smith and
Stephen Bailey. Bridgewater's going to have to use the timeout. Play clock was winding down. They're looking at 2nd and 11. How much fun is this? Your hearts if you can and do what you can. Donate to the V Foundation. We certainly would be grateful for that. On a 2nd and 11. Bridgewater fires a little bit too high. Damian Copeland takes a big hit. Now 3rd and 11.
But this is the way it should be. And I know Teddy Bridgewater didn't start the game, but Louisville is in this position because of Teddy Bridgewater all season long. And here he is. He's not 100%, but he's a gunslinger out there. I mean, watching the way he's playing, if they win this game and get to a BCS bowl game, it'll be because of Teddy Bridgewater tonight.
And now he faces 3rd and 11 and the 2nd largest crowd ever at High Point Solution Stadium, 52,798, trying to roll up some noise.
No man-to-man coverage if you're Rutgers. I would not do it, and they are.
Pressure coming on Bridgewater, and down he goes. Steve Boharnis was there to get him.
Like I said, I go man-to-man coverage and blitz, right?
Check that, it was Kevin Snyder, 45, not 42, and a big play for the Rutgers defense.
And a great job dialing up the pressure. And you see him coming right off the edge. You see the defensive end crash in. You see the safety come off the edge. Great job with the linebacker. They didn't pick it up. Teddy Bridgewater, he hadn't been hit in a while. He hadn't been taken to the ground since the first half. That ankle, that hand, or that wrist and that ankle hurts a lot worse after that.
Snyder making the big sack. Sophomore from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. A short punt. Now it's going to roll and finally stop. Pretty good roll for the Cardinals at the 25-yard line. So Rutgers tied at 17. We'll have it 75 yards away. Here's some key plays in the 2nd half. The fake field goal worked. The field goal that has us tied up at 17. So an eventful 2nd half as Juwan Jamison gets the carry. We're headed down toward the 4-minute mark to play.
So no negative plays right now if you're Gary Nova. And that's something he's been able to avoid for the majority all season long. You take away the Kent State game when he threw 6 picks, he's only thrown 7 in 10 games. Only been sacked 8 times this year, guys. You got to like with him having the football in his hands in this situation.
Nova steps up, has a man, and a tremendous play and recovery. That was Pryor making the play. Pryor, who recovered the fumble on the kickoff.
And that was a great job by Pryor reacting to the ball when it was thrown. He's not even in your screen. Watch him come from all the way from the right side. Throw a paw out there and stab it.
And if Gary Nova, I think, had a cleaner pocket, he could have stepped into that throw. Could have been a line drive completion, but because of the pressure, it forced him to throw a little bit off balance, allowing Pryor to make the play. So here you go now, 3rd and long.
Rutgers hasn't been good on 3rd down tonight, just 2 of 9. He's rushing 3. Down the middle and in and out of the hands and intercepted. Wright couldn't hold on to it and is picked off by Louisville. The freshman James Burgess got it and a big turnover. The Cardinals coming up with a play.
Focus and concentration. And this drop is just as bad and as costly as his drop touchdown pass a few series ago. So this football was not thrown too high.
Let's see what the flag is. And they're trying to, of course, the intensity's high now over on the sideline. Kyle Flood across the way to get his guys away.
Officials time, injured player. Play, unsportsmanlike conduct. 1st down.
That's a huge penalty.
No doubt.
You look at it being close to field goal range, but tell you what, we took you back a year ago when they made a huge drop last season, and this is a good throw by Nova. This receiver's got a chance to make a play. It hits him in the hands, and he knees it up in the air. You got to catch that. You got to help your quarterback out.
And Wright's
got to make it.
He's playing his last game here at this stadium. He's a captain. He's had a couple of really costly drops tonight. One that potentially would have been a touchdown pass. That one would have been a 1st down reception.
And so it's Burgess who makes the play. the interception.
James Burgess, true freshman, making that grab. It was Burgess who earlier tonight also, you see, get a chance to atone, who missed a tackle on one of the long touchdown passes.
It's a very young Louisville team. Only 5 senior starters on this year's squad. There's a true freshman, James Burgess, making a big play. It's amazing. You think of the playmakers they have, the youth. Teddy Bridgewater, we've said all along, only a true sophomore.
Yeah.
Looking ahead to next year in the Big East, eventually when they get into the ACC, if guys stick around,
Scary.
this team's going to be pretty good.
Especially with Teddy. I mean, he's one of the best in the country doing what he does.
All right, so after the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty following the interception, Louisville's backed up to the 47. Still good field position, but not as good as it could have or should have been. Bridgewater going to take care of that. He's got Andrell Smith. Smith inside the 20, and it'll be 1st and 10 for the Cardinals, easily within field goal range now as we're inside 4 minutes.
And Andrell Smith just beat one of the best man-to-man cover corners in the entire country, and Logan Ryan, just to the left of the screen, just going to run a slant. Logan Ryan just falls down, unable to make a play. Look at the bottom of the screen here. Doesn't get tripped up, just falls to the ground. And that allows the big 6'3" Smith to get a lot of yak after he has the football.
A 30-yard completion. Mark it up to 17. Bridgewater gets it off. Wright finding running room. Jeremy Wright knocked down at about the 10. He'll be about 2.5 short of the first down.
If you're Louisville, take your time on offense. Bleed this clock as much as you can before giving it back to Rutgers.
And Jeremy Wright's been a lot more effective in the second half. And his stats aren't great, but he's been hit behind the line of scrimmage a couple times and made positive yards and made some people miss. And, you know, that's a big run right there to set you up in great position.
Ready toward 2.5 to play. Wright falls in the backfield. It'll be 3rd down. Self-tackleization.
Not sure what that was.
Now Rutgers is going to use a timeout to stop the clock.
I have to go the whole length of the field.
Louisville's been very good on 3rd down tonight. 8 of 17 for the night. 5 and 7 in the second half.
Louisville has 655 pounds on their right guard and right tackle.
Gonna run it left. Wright got through one. He was hit by Green in the backfield. It'll be 4th down.
Well, John Wallace must like the left hash.
Yeah, they didn't center it up the way you asked.
They definitely didn't center it. I don't know many kickers that like the inside out. It's like that inside-out forehand for a tennis player, David. That's your favorite.
Now, since Rob Smith arrived, defensive coordinator now, former special teams coach in 2009, Rutgers leads the nation in block kicks. They're tied for the national lead this year with UCLA. They blocked 8 different kicks. 29 yards away for John Wallace for the lead, inside 2 minutes to play. They don't get a hold of it to block it. And the kick is good, and Louisville has a 20-17 lead with a 1:41 to play. So the deflected pass, the drop, led to the turnover. The freshman Burgess was the man to grab it for Louisville. It set up Wallace for a field goal, and Louisville trying to hang on for 1:41 and work their way into a BC outright. Louisville will get a share in the automatic BCS berth that goes with the champion if they can hang on to their 20-17 lead. And what a week it's been for the Cardinals, announcing that they're going to the ACC. Now trying to win the Big East. Here is Jeremy Deering. Had a big fumble on a kickoff return earlier. Deering across the 30. He took a big hit. And so now with 95 seconds to play, 1 timeout for Gary Nova to try to get his team into field goal range.
Plenty of time. Your kicker, Nick Borghese's long this year is a 42-yard field goal, which means right now if you're Gary Nova, you got to drive it 55 yards to give him an opportunity to match that long.
He's had a lot of success going 5 wide, spreading them out. his receivers stopped making plays on the football. So his receivers really got to help him out. We talked about the height, throwing it up. He's going to take some big catches from his big boys.
There's Borghese, the kicker. Remember, Kyle Federico has a hip injury. He's the freshman who is the normal starting kicker. Nova on first down. Want to get a drive started with a completion. Might be wise to get out of bounds. Official signaling to stop the clock for Mark Harrison.
Louisville going to sit back and try and keep the football in front of them. On that last play, they only rushed 3 players.
Hey, if you're a receiver and you catch the ball near the sidelines,
out of bounds.
Skedaddle out of bounds there.
No doubt.
Get as much as you can, get out. Rutgers only has 1 timeout to work with, as mentioned. Pick up a 4, now 2nd and 6. And Nova has nothing working to stop the clock. 3rd and 6, 1:24 left.
It's been amazing. They did it again. Louisville dropped 9 people into coverage, but they're still able to get pressure on the quarterback, and that was a screen, thrown behind them. But Rutgers has got to protect Nova better.
Now, what are you looking for?
Well, I still think if you're Gary Nova, you've had opportunities all night long across the middle of the field, crossing patterns, finding soft spots in zone coverage. They've had some critical drops there. That's where you got to go right now, I think, if you're Nova.
3rd and 6, Nova. It's incomplete. They have the first down. Up close to the 50-yard line, it was Jamison out of the backfield. Clock will stop until they get the same change set after the first down. And now it's winding. Nova. Oh, miscommunication. It's up for grabs, and it's intercepted. Picked up by Terrell Floyd. A terrible error and miscommunication between Nova and his wide receiver. 3 turnovers on the night for the Scarlet Knights, and a heartbroken crowd at High Point Solution Stadium.
Well, there's miscommunication, obviously, between the quarterback and his wide receiver. If you look out here, you're going to see the cornerback playing off, and I think right now, that's what Brandon Coleman thinks. At the very last second, the corner kind of comes up, and I'm wondering if Gary Nova thought he was going to come up and press, which would have converted the route and turned it into a fake. But obvious miscommunication at the most crucial juncture in the game.
Great job wrapping that ball up with 2 hands, too. He wasn't letting that thing hit the ground.
Don't want to put it in the hands of the replay official, and what a performance tonight for the Cardinals, as I mentioned this week, announcing that they're leaving the Big East to go to the ACC. That was followed by rumors vehemently denied on both sides that Charlie Strong had already talked to Auburn about his coaching vacancy. Now coming in here with Teddy Bridgewater hurt, and assuming this interception stands, they're going to come out of here, the birthplace of college football, with a berth in a BCS Bowl.
And I think that speaks to Charlie Strong and his ability to keep this football team focused. This looks like a catch.
Interception, first down.
And a Rutgers team that started so fast, and that 3 second-half turnovers. I mean, they had everything about this game in their control, but they completely self-destructed.
We started early. A couple of special teams blunders, one catching a kickoff while sliding inside their own 10. Later, Jeremy Deering fumbled a kickoff. The interceptions, the ineligible receiver on the fake field goal might very well, David, be the biggest play of the game. That would
puts the game out of reach.
It would have been 21-3.
I'll tell you what, you can see why Charlie Strong's a hot commodity.
No question.
His first year at Louisville, he goes 7-6. He's Conference Coach of the Year. Last year, they win a share of the conference title. This year, looks like they're going to win the conference title, play in a BCS bowl game. One of the best defensive minds, one of the best recruiters in the country. I mean, this guy